So, we kick things off with our protagonist, a pro gamer, absolutely roasting the game on his screen. He's breaking down the definition of a trash game, listing off everything from being no fun to having an absurdly impossible difficulty level. He reveals the game is called Tower of Trials. Apparently, when it dropped, all the hardcore Korean gamers locked in, grinding 24/7 to be the first to beat it, as they always do. But it was no use. After 3 whole years, the gaming community came to a grim conclusion. Tower of Trials was literally an unbeatable game. The bosses were just built different. Our guy continues his rant, describing levels that were just pure torture. A temple so cold it kills you in an hour, and a labyrinth the size of a small country. He officially declares the game is straight-up trash. Because of this, the game's popularity tanked. It basically died, except for a few absolute madmen who refused to give up on the impossible challenge. And guess who was the last one standing? Our guy. After an insane grind, a system message pops up. He has conquered floor 50 and is the first person to ever clear the Tower of Trials. He can barely believe it. He explains that despite how much he complained, the challenge was genuinely fun. The feeling of mastering something so impossible was worth dedicating 11 years of his life to it. Standing in the final, cleared area of the game, he jokes to himself that he should have streamed the final boss fight, or at least uploaded it to NewTube for some views. Suddenly, a weird system message appears. It thanks him for playing and announces a massive Reboot update happening in 12 hours. Our guy is completely baffled, wondering where a dead game got the money for a reboot. The scene changes to the protagonist's messy apartment. He decides that even with a reboot, he's done with the game for good. He's also quitting his job as a streamer, because at 27, he can't survive on $500 a month anymore. Looking out his window at the city, he reflects on how people used to say he could have been a pro fighter, but right now, he needs to focus on making real money. He starts one last live stream, planning to announce his retirement. His chat is just goofing around, calling him a mukbang streamer and spamming memes. Completely unaware of his serious mood, he tries to make his big announcement, but his viewers just joke that he's getting married. Realizing the mood isn't right, he chickens out and decides he'll just post a written announcement later. The next morning, he wakes up with a hangover. Still groggy, he decides he might as well upload the video of him finally beating the Tower of Trials. He powers on his PC, but the first thing he sees is a news alert. The Tower of Trials has somehow become real. He clicks on a stream where some other streamer is freaking out, showing a massive dark tower that has just appeared in the middle of the city. The random streamer explains to his chat that the tower is from the 11-year-old game. As he's talking, the sky outside his window turns a terrifying blood-red color, and everyone in the chat starts panicking. The protagonist is horrified. He recognizes this phenomenon. The blood-red sky is the very first sign of the apocalypse event that kicks off the game's story. At that moment, a system message appears right in front of him in his room. The system message, appearing to everyone all over the world, announces that the first update is complete. It gives all of humanity a single, terrifying quest: clear the next floor of the tower within 90 days. As the protagonist stares at the message with a look of grim understanding, the final, chilling condition is revealed. If they fail, all of humanity will perish. All right, so the world is officially cooked. A bunch of system messages pop up, basically saying the Tower of Trials reboot is complete, and humanity's ability to accept this insane new reality has been cranked up to max. Our guy, Kang Jin-hyuk, is sweating, realizing this is for real. He knows he can't just sit around his apartment. He's got to make moves, and fast. He decides he needs to hurry to a specific place to get a secret item. And get this, instead of being terrified that the world is ending, my man's heart is pounding with excitement. He's been training for this moment for 11 years without even knowing it. It's time to lock in. The scene shifts to Central City, and it's pure chaos. People are running around like headless chickens, screaming about catching the fastest train to Busan, which is apparently the go-to move in any Korean apocalypse. The crowd is in full-blown panic mode, arguing about where to run. Some think they need to flee the country, while others point out the tower appeared everywhere. The only thing they agree on is that staying in Seoul is a death sentence. But our boy Kang Jin-hyuk? He's built different. While everyone else is trying to escape, he's running straight into the danger zone. He knows this specific spot is an external zone from the game, and it's his best shot at getting a head start. He walks into the central underground strip mall, and a system message confirms he's entered an event zone. You can already see a bunch of other people milling around, so you know something's about to go down. Kang Jin-hyuk immediately sizes up the competition. He realizes these aren't just random civilians. They're all gamers who know the basics of Tower of Trials. They're all giving each other the side eye, knowing a battle is about to break out. He thinks to himself that the special item about to appear is super rare, 5 at most if they're lucky. Just as he's calculating his odds, some guy in a suit calls out his name. And of course, it's his old boss, Lee Jong-soo. This dude is a famous streamer and the CEO of the scummy company Kang Jin-hyuk used to work for. He acts all chummy, but our guy is not having any of it. The scammer CEO, Lee Jong-soo, tries to propose a team-up, talking about sharing secrets like they're old co-workers. Kang Jin-hyuk looks absolutely disgusted just hearing the word. We get a quick flashback where Kang Jin-hyuk remembers how Lee Jong-soo's company used slave contracts to screw over his friends. Meanwhile, in the present, Lee Jong-soo is still trying to sweet-talk him, even offering a better contract. The nerve on this guy is unreal. Our guy has heard enough. Kang Jin-hyuk grabs him by the collar and tells him the world has changed, so he better stop acting like they're buddies. Then he just decks him right in the face. Absolute cinema. Lee Jong-soo is completely stunned. Kang Jin-hyuk, feeling way better now, calmly notes that it should be about time for the event to start. Right on cue, a massive, magical-looking tree erupts from a fountain in the middle of the mall. The waterworks and special effects are going crazy. Everyone is freaking out, identifying it as a mangrove. For Kang Jin-hyuk, this is the ultimate confirmation. He thinks to himself that his game knowledge is 100% accurate in this new reality. His memory is basically a cheat code. The crowd immediately spots the fruits growing on it. Kang Jin-hyuk knows these are priceless stat-boosting items, but he also knows the terrible truth. There are only 4 of them. It's an instant battle royale. Everyone starts shoving, grabbing, and fighting each other, desperately trying to be the first to get one of the 4 fruits. Lee Jong-soo, the scammer CEO, is furious. He yells at Kang Jin-hyuk, claiming that if he had just cooperated, they both could have gotten a fruit. But now they'll get nothing. Kang Jin-hyuk just tells him to shut up, because he has no idea what's really going on. With a stone-cold, menacing smile, he says that now is not the time to go for the fruits, hinting that he knows the real secret to this event. So, while all the NPCs are going full-on Black Friday for these glowing fruits, it's absolute chaos on the ground. People are literally climbing over each other, and one dude in a suit finally grabs one and starts celebrating like he just won the lottery. This is the wrong way to play, setting the stage for our hero's big brain move. But our guy, Kang Jin-hyuk, is playing 4D chess. He's not on the ground. He and the scammer CEO, Lee Jong-soo, are literally doing a trust fall off a skyscraper, heading straight for the action. Our guy lays down the law, telling the CEO that if either of them messes up, they're both cooked. The scammer CEO, trying to act cool, says he's played the game and knows what to do. A super sketchy alliance is formed. They are coming in hot, basically using gravity as a weapon. As they plummet towards the giant monster tree, our guy gives the signal to execute their plan. The whole scene is pure motion and intensity, a high-speed dive bomb right into the heart of the danger zone. And big shocker, the scammer CEO immediately betrays him. The second they get close, he calls our guy a stupid idiot and says he's just going to use him as bait. But this is where it gets good. Our guy isn't even surprised. He just gives this stone-cold, satisfied smile and says he's so glad the CEO is still the same predictable scumbag. He played him like a fiddle. The betrayal was part of the plan all along. This is where our guy goes full sicko mode. With the CEO now serving as the perfect distraction, Kang Jin-hyuk gets into the perfect position. He starts calling out angles like he's an artillery spotter, targeting the monster's weak points. He's not fighting randomly. He's surgically dismantling this thing with his game knowledge, unleashing these insane, dark energy tendrils. And then, boom, total domination. Our guy is standing in the wreckage, confidently stomping on a piece of the defeated monster. He smirks, thinking to himself that this is a strategy he's perfected over countless runs in the game. He didn't need the fruit because he knew how to take down the entire tree. Absolute legend behavior. After defeating the monster tree and scammer CEO, our guy is immediately ported into a dark, spooky forest, running towards an unknown destination and yelling, "Almost there!" He encounters a swarm of glowing blue sleep butterflies, which spread sleeping powder that causes an instant knockout if inhaled. Knowing their weakness, our guy simply holds his breath and sprints through the butterfly cloud, unaffected by their sleeping powder. He reaches his target, the mangrove tree of greed, and unleashes a massive blue energy wave, a kamehameha, into its core. The tree attempts to retaliate with red energy, but our guy overwhelms it, shattering the entire tree with a final impact. A system message announces, "You are the first to defeat the mangrove tree of greed," granting him a first clear bonus. Our guy reflects on how his years of pattern and timing research in a dead game unexpectedly helped him. Feeling unexpectedly thankful for his past grinding, the system asks him to state his name for the Hall of Fame, which will display his achievement for a day. He scoffs at the trash system that demands your personal information and refuses to give his name, stating, "I don't have a name. It will all be confidential." The system compromises, assigning him the name Unknown, blurring his face and changing his voice, which he reluctantly accepts. He climbs the wreckage and retrieves the tree orb, the main boss drop, which grants a flat 12 bonus stats, equivalent to 4 level-ups at level 1. He consumes the orb, checks his status, and confidently declares himself the strongest level 1 with 12 stat points. In the real world, forums are abuzz with the Hall of Fame update, with players expressing disbelief and admiration for Unknown's feat. Our guy, scrolling through comments, smirks at the so-called experts, thinking, "Looks like he spent 11 years in a trash game that died 1 year ago." He receives a DM from Park Ho-shik, a director from a massive corporation, offering a 10 billion won down payment and 100 million won monthly for his knowledge. He considers the offer, remembering his past struggles, and acknowledges he would have accepted it in a heartbeat yesterday. However, he now refuses, realizing that information monopoly is the most valuable currency, and he won't share his knowledge for any amount of money. He plans his next move, noting that the tower's mana leakage imbued historical artifacts in Seoul with power, turning them into holy artifacts. His target is the National Museum of Korea, which he identifies as a treasure chest of these artifacts. He arrives at the museum at night, anticipating that other former top players will also be aiming for the unique, powerful replicas. Upon entering the event area, he finds the main hall eerily quiet, initially thinking he's the first to arrive. He then spots silhouettes in the distance, confirming that others have arrived before him. Suddenly, a wave of dark energy erupts from the center of the room, and a figure surrounded by swirling shadows and glowing purple fragments rises, indicating a powerful opponent. Our guy rolls into the museum and immediately sees he's late to the party. He's like, knew it, as he spots some poor soul getting absolutely folded by a shadowy figure in the distance. He's not even sweating it, just thinking to himself how, in only one day, everyone's gotten way too confident. He knows exactly what they're all fighting over, the main artifact in the medieval classical era gallery. The prize is the Great Map of the Eastland. Our guy knows this thing is basically a cheat sheet for the first 10 floors of the tower, revealing all the good loot spots and monster locations. It's the ultimate starter pack. But here's the big brain play. Our guy knows that while everyone is losing their minds over this one map, they're completely ignoring the real hidden gems scattered around the museum. A classic case of not seeing the forest for the trees. Meanwhile, in the gallery, it's an absolute clown show. A bunch of players are in a chaotic brawl, screaming and fighting over the map. It's a complete mess. A dude with a hammer, let's call him Hammer Bro, gets in another guy's face, threatening to turn his skull into a crater. The vibe is not friendly. Suddenly, one of the brawlers goes full-on Super Saiyan, his shirt ripping as he powers up with a unique ability. He screams that the map is his, leaving Hammer Bro and a girl with a tattoo completely stunned. Out of nowhere, a calm-looking old man steps forward. The powered-up dude, let's call him Loudmouth, scoffs and asks if the old geezer has a death wish. The old man introduces himself as Min Jung-woo. Loudmouth couldn't care less and threatens to snap his neck. Grandpa Wizard just calmly roasts him for his foul mouth. Then, Grandpa Wizard drops the coldest line imaginable, asking Loudmouth which he thinks is faster, getting his neck snapped or being turned into a charcoal briquette. Plot twist. Grandpa Wizard is a freaking mage. He summons a fireball in his hand, and Loudmouth's jaw hits the floor. He was not ready for magic. Grandpa Wizard just says, "Catch," and yeets the fireball. It engulfs Loudmouth in a massive explosion of flames. The dude gets instantly vaporized, just gone. Grandpa Wizard stands over the ashes and says it was his own tongue that sealed his fate. Savage. A man in a suit praises Grandpa Wizard for the assist. And they turn to a girl in a school uniform named Lee Yuri, asking if she got the map. She confirms, saying she's got their back. This is clearly a coordinated team. Lee Yuri then decides it's her turn to flex. She unleashes a wave of dark purple energy and begins summoning a massive armored warrior. her summon fully materializes, a giant, badass, Anubis-looking monster radiating pure power. So, the squad is a fire wizard and a master summoner. They are not messing around. With her new monster bodyguard looming over everyone, Lee Yuri, let's call her Anubis Girl, warns the crowd that anyone who moves is an enemy and will get their head munched on. Then she smiles sweetly and asks for their cooperation. The remaining players, including a guy with a knife, realize they are completely outmatched. They drop their weapons and surrender the map. Anubis Girl thanks them, but then her expression changes as she spots someone new. Our guy finally steps into the light, walking through the wreckage. He casually scolds everyone for trashing the place, and then calls out to Anubis Girl, sarcastically calling her Mr. Fearless. Anubis Girl is not having it. Her eyes glow with purple energy as she asks if he thinks this is a joke, landing with a powerful stomp that cracks the floor. She wastes zero time on dialogue. She just points at our guy and commands her Anubis monster, "Get him." The chapter ends with a massive clash of energy as our guy meets the monster's attack head-on, kicking off a whole new fight. So the fight kicks off right where we left it. Anubis Girl's big monster throws a massive spear punch, and the whole area just explodes. Our guy just casually puts a hand up and blocks it like it's nothing. Anubis Girl is absolutely floored, her face screaming, "What the hell?" All the other players watching are losing their minds. Like, did he just parry that with his hand? Is his arm okay? Meanwhile, our guy is just standing there, completely unbothered, thinking to himself that these noobs have no clue what his stats are. He then looks over at Anubis Girl and basically says, "So, what now? Your puppy's only weapon is gone?" The disrespect is unreal. Anubis Girl is not having it. She screams back, "Who said that was all I had?" and starts pulling out a whole handful of smaller Anubis statues from her backpack. She's about to go from one big dog to a whole kennel. A system message pops up announcing that the Avatar of Anubis replica is coming to life. Our guy just watches with a little ooh, like he's impressed by a magic trick. Anubis Girl, now backed by a squad of jackal warriors, gets in his face and asks if he's still smiling now that he's outnumbered. Our guy is still completely unimpressed. He's just thinking that for her to control 5 of these things at once with her mana pool, she's definitely not your average player. He compares her to Grandpa Wizard from before. Realizing there are a good number of people who've already graduated from the tutorial level. He tells her the new summons are nice, then clarifies that they're somewhere between decent and nice. It's the most condescending compliment ever. She's fuming, telling him she doesn't like his cocky attitude. Our guy is like, "Oh, you don't? Then I guess I'll have to show you." He thinks to himself that the power gap between them is so massive she can't even process it. So he needs to give her a live demonstration. He pulls out his own artifact, a scroll called the Pinewood Tiger Replica, and starts pumping it full of his own mana. It's his turn to show off his toys. The ruler of the mountains is appearing. A gigantic, glowing, golden tiger materializes out of thin air behind our guy. Anubis Girl's face just breaks. She can't believe what she's seeing. The tiger is absolutely enormous, crackling with golden energy and ready to tear something apart. It makes her, Anubis summons, look like tiny chihuahuas. It makes her, Anubis summons, look like tiny chihuahuas. Our guy looks at her jackal squad and scoffs, asking if a mere jackal dares to bare his teeth in front of the ruler of the mountain. He's really rubbing in how outclassed she is. With a simple point, he gives his new tiger a one-line command: eat them up. It's an absolute massacre. The tiger lunges and just obliterates the jackal warriors. They get swatted, smashed, and thrown around like rag dolls. It's not even a fight. The last few jackals try to put up a fight, charging with their weapons, but the tiger just roars, ready to swallow them whole. One of the jackals actually manages to get a bite in on the tiger's leg, drawing a little blood, but it does absolutely nothing to slow the giant beast down. Anubis girl is having a complete meltdown. She's never seen an artifact used with this much raw power. The energy coming off the tiger is so intense, she feels like her skin is going to peel off. She finally admits to herself that she can't win. She collapses to her knees, totally defeated. She thought she had the best possible starting items, the strongest hand, and she just can't comprehend how she was so wrong. She looks up at our guy, who's just standing there with his hands in his pockets like he's waiting for a bus, and she wonders, who is this guy? Our guy walks over to her and gets straight to the point, telling her to hand it over. When she asks what he's talking about, he names his price, the Mask of Tutankhamun. She tries to argue, saying the mask is useless in Korea, but one look at the giant tiger growling over her shoulder makes her give in immediately. She tosses him the mask, and a system message confirms he's acquired it. Our guy pockets the mask, noting that it's the second artifact he's collected. Anubis girl asks if he's going after the Great Map of the East Lands, and he literally says he forgot about it. He then tells her to stay put and guard the area so nobody follows him. He just turned his rival into his personal security guard. As a final warning to everyone else watching, he has the tiger slam its massive paw into the ground, making it clear who's in charge here. The scene shifts, and our guy is now standing before a massive, ornate gate, the entrance to the Tower of Trials. He declares that his preparations are complete, and that he's going to get the strongest skill in the entire game. Absolute legend. The scene completely flips. We're not with our guy anymore. We're at the National Central Museum, and it's a total disaster zone. Grandpa Wizard is here, and he is absolutely losing it, screaming at some woman who isn't even on screen. Meanwhile, a new character, this calm-looking dude in a white lab coat, is just standing there, thinking. The floor is glowing, and there's broken junk everywhere. White coat guy is having a minor freakout, wondering who the hell could have gotten past security, some lady named Lee Yuri, and made it all the way up to this floor. They're both staring at this massive, glowing blue portal thing that's blocking their way. White coat guy immediately identifies the portal as a 1-star rank barrier. Grandpa Wizard is like, "Oh, you know about this stuff?" He admits he's never seen one before, and that nothing, not even his magic or a good old-fashioned punch, can break it. But White Coat Guy is built different. He locks in, analyzing the barrier's mana flow like he's reading a book. He finds the weak spot and calls it Carpo. This dude's got a plan. He tells Grandpa Wizard that he can get through the barrier, but there's a condition. He needs Grandpa Wizard to continuously blast the barrier with his flame magic to keep it weak while he's inside. Grandpa Wizard is not feeling this plan at all. He's basically like, "So let me get this straight. You want me to stand out here and burn all my mana while you go get all the loot?" White Coat Guy turns on the charm, saying it's the only way, and offers to let Grandpa keep the map they came for, claiming he's after something else entirely. After some grumbling, Grandpa agrees, but only if White Coat Guy pinky promises to give him the map. White Coat Guy agrees, saying he's not dumb enough to make an enemy out of a top-tier magic user. With the deal struck, Grandpa Wizard powers up, ready to unleash a firestorm. And holy crap, does he ever! Grandpa Wizard lets loose a massive torrent of flames, screaming, as he bombards the barrier with everything he's got. This is White Coat Guy's cue. He yells the magic word, Carpo, and dives headfirst through the wall of fire and into the weakened barrier. Grandpa is already sweating buckets, screaming for him to hurry the hell up because he can't maintain this level of power for long. White Coat Guy, cool as a cucumber, just says he'll try his best. The absolute disrespect. He makes it inside. The area is a pristine museum exhibit, completely untouched. He notes that, unlike the trashed lower floors, no one seems to have been here. Spoke too soon. He finds one shattered display case. The system tells him the iron sword that has Qianlong inscribed on it has been stolen. He instantly realizes someone else beat them to it, took the sword, and then put up that barrier on their way out. White Coat Guy deduces that the other guy is a careful player, just taking what he wants and leaving. But then he gets this massive smirk on his face. He realizes the sword was just a second-rate relic, and that the real prize was left behind. He walks over to a display of old coins and says, "Found it. It's crafting time, baby." White Coat Guy reveals his true goal, to create the most powerful skill in the game. He pulls out the ceremonial Persian formwork, the coins, and the right eye from Tutankhamun's mask and begins to combine them. A system message pops up, saying the relics are reacting. But there's a catch. To complete the fusion, he has to pay the appropriate price. The price is another relic. He sacrifices a string of golden coins, which get absorbed into the glowing energy. The fusion is a success. A massive burst of golden light erupts as the system announces that he has combined the relics against all odds. He's acquired a new SS rank relic, the Eye of Truth. This bad boy lets him see other players' status windows and can detect lies 3 times a day. He calls it the greatest of the 5 eyes, but says this still wasn't his main reason for coming. A hidden quest notification appears. By crafting an S-rank item from B-rank replicas, he's unlocked something huge. He gets his own unique inherent ability, Fusion Overlink. This skill is completely broken. It lets him copy other people's skills, store them in a memory of the world, and then fuse them together to create even stronger, higher dimension skills. His ultimate goal is to use this to become the strongest player in the Tower of Trials. Back outside, Grandpa Wizard is on his last legs, screaming as he holds the firestorm together. He's yelling at White Coat Guy that if he's done, he needs to get out now because he's about to collapse. Using his brand new Eye of Truth, White Coat Guy checks the condition for copying Grandpa's ability. The system tells him he needs to make the old man, who always hides his emotions behind a mask, reveal his true feelings. A wicked grin spreads across White Coat Guy's face as he puts 2 and 2 together. Aha, he says to himself. In other words, I just need to piss him off. Our guy, Kang Jin-hyuk, is looking at the system window, and it's basically like, to copy this old dude's skill, you gotta make him stop being so stoic and show his real emotions. And Jin-hyuk gets this absolutely diabolical smirk on his face and is like, aha, so all I gotta do is piss him off? Bet. White coat guy just waltzes out of the barrier, cool as a cucumber, and yells at Grandpa Wizard, who is sweating buckets and about to pass out from holding the firestorm. To just stop. The absolute disrespect. He then tells the old man that, actually, there was no reason for him to be blasting the barrier at all. Grandpa Wizard is completely floored, like, what? Then why the hell did you make me waste all my magic? Jinhyuk drops the bomb. The barrier opens with a simple Latin password, Carpo. He literally tricked Grandpa into burning himself out for absolutely nothing. The old man is so shocked and enraged, he just collapses. With Grandpa Wizard's magic at rock bottom, Jin-hyuk thinks to himself that the old man is no longer a threat. Now it's time for the final phase of the plan, to make him absolutely lose his mind. Grandpa Wizard, still fuming, demands the map they agreed on. Jin-hyuk is like, this map with info up to the 10th floor? Bro, that's useless to me. But instead of handing it over, he pulls out a lighter. The old man starts screaming, realizing what's about to happen. With the most punchable grin you've ever seen, Jin-hyuk reminds him, didn't I tell you? I don't need this. And then he just torches the map. His reasoning is pure alpha gamer logic. If other people can use this map to get an advantage over him, the only way to secure his top spot is to destroy that possibility entirely. This is the final straw. Grandpa Wizard goes completely nuclear, screaming that he's going to kill Jin-hyuk and rip him apart. This raw, unfiltered rage is exactly what the system wanted. A notification pops up. You have met the conditions. Mission accomplished. The system announces that he has successfully copied the skill Fire Element B. A giant magic book appears in the air, absorbing the new power. The skill gets saved into his personal database, the world's memories. Jin-hyuk is super pleased with himself, calling it a not bad start for his collection. Grandpa is still screaming threats, promising to make him pay. Jin-hyuk just calmly asks, you still don't get it, do you? Why do you think I burned that map? To answer his own question, Jin-hyuk summons a small flame in his hand, showing off a perfect copy of Grandpa's own power. The old man is completely stunned into silence. Grandpa Wizard is having a full-on crisis. He recognizes it's his skill, but he can tell Jin-hyuk's version is on a whole other level of power. He realizes this guy is not normal and might be so far ahead he never even needed the map in the first place. Jin-hyuk goes into full lecture mode, telling the old man that if he wants to climb the tower comfortably, he better shut up and listen carefully from now on. The scene changes. We see Jin-hyuk explaining that he was one of 4 vets, basically experienced players who know the future, who showed up at the museum. He gets why everyone is scrambling to get ahead now that the world has turned into this game. He's now talking to Grandpa Wizard and the blue-haired bandit lady, who is apparently part of his crew now. He tells them he's off to collect more skills and will contact them later. He gives them their new mission, level up while he's gone. He calls them his chess pieces, making it clear he's the one running the show. Now alone, Jinhyuk plans his next move. He knows he can't get every skill in the game, so he's going to be strategic and hoard only the most powerful and tastiest ones for himself. The location shifts again. Jinhyuk is at a restaurant, looking exhausted and ready to eat some gukbap. But a news report on the TV catches his attention. It's about the incident at the museum, with at least 23 dead and over 50 injured. The news anchor reveals that it's not just Korea. Similar attacks on museums are happening all over the world. Jinhyuk realizes that other vets are making their moves globally. The broadcast then cuts to CCTV footage from the incident. The footage is wild. It shows people with insane powers, like a guy with the head of Anubis and another who looks like a Tiger Man, just wrecking shop. This is the world's first look at the awakened. People in the restaurant are losing their minds. One guy recognizes the fighting style from an old internet video of someone fighting a monster called a mangrove, realizing it's the same person. Jinhyuk overhears this and knows he needs to figure out a way to hide his identity because he's becoming way too famous. The news report continues, announcing that the government has moved fast. They've already established a new special department called the Awakened Association to manage people with these abilities. Jinhyuk is genuinely surprised by how quickly they've responded. He admits he thought it would take the government weeks to get organized. Their proactive response is unexpected. A man named Han Songjin, the chief of this new association, appears on screen. He's giving a press conference to recruit awakened individuals, offering them a minimum annual salary of 60 million won and a position as a grade 7 government official. Then, the association chief makes a special announcement aimed directly at the screen. He says that offer is for everyone except the person in the videos. For that specific individual, our guy Jinhyuk, he makes a different promise. If he joins them, the government will give him anything and everything he desires. It's a public, high-stakes job offer. The association chief, Han Songjin, is on national television making an insane public offer. On my name as the president, I swear, if you join us, the government will give you literally anything you want. It's a blank check, a public declaration of glazing. Our guy, Jinhyuk, is watching this circus unfold, thinking the government's real goal was always him, and they're just treating him like a tool. He has zero intention of joining them. He knows that in this new world, one top-tier player is worth more than 100 average ones, and Mr. Blank Check knows it too. Jinhyuk starts wondering if this Han Songjin guy got the job because he has an amazing skill, and a wicked little smirk crosses his face. He really hopes so. Because if Han Songjin does have a good skill, it'll just make it more fun for Jinhyuk to copy it later. The clock on the wall shows it's almost 7 p.m. As the hour strikes, a massive system message appears for everyone. The Tower of Trials is about to open. And just like that, it's open. All over the world, people are gathered at the entrances, which look like glowing blue portals at the edge of floating cliffs. The system officially announces the tower is open for business. A massive crowd pushes its way into the first floor. It's total chaos. A couple of guys who are clearly vets are like, "Damn, it's exactly the same as before." While all the newbies are just freaking out, Jinhyuk is just standing there, cool as a cucumber, thinking how they're all just a bunch of rookies. The system drops a welcome package on everyone. You get 100 coins to start, which is the tower's currency. It then explains the live broadcast feature. Players can upload videos of their achievements, and for every 10,000 views, they get 100 coins. But there's a catch. Each viewer's first 10,000 views are the only ones that count, so people have to choose who they watch carefully. The system also warns that if anyone tries to cheat the view count, they'll get punished severely. Jinha just smirks, thinking, yeah, now this is what I'm talking about. He starts breaking it down in his head. The broadcast system is the most interesting part of the tower. It's the bridge between the climbers and the people still on Earth. Viewers will naturally flock to the players who look like they have the best shot at reaching the top. Basically, the more famous you get, the more money you make. As Jinha is thinking, the entire crowd of newbies stampedes past him. They're all screaming about going to the Goblin Cave to farm and get ahead of everyone else. Jinha just lets them go, thinking they're all in a rush to get rich or famous. He knows he could easily earn coins since he knows everything, but he has no plans to upload a video first. He thinks that sharing his secret knowledge through videos would be a much bigger loss in the long run. He already knows exactly what he needs to do first, something special that none of these rookies would even think of. He starts having a flashback. He remembers a time in his past life when he and his party were stuck, unable to get past the 30th floor. To move on, they had to go back and find hidden pieces they missed in the lower levels. They eventually found the solution in some abandoned ruins. And that's when they made a horrifying discovery. Jinha realized that his character, the one he had spent years building and pouring his life into, was fundamentally flawed from the very beginning. All that time, all that effort, was for a character that was complete trash. He remembers the despair, clenching his fist as he looked at the character deletion screen, wondering why this was the answer after everything he'd sacrificed. But then he snapped out of it. He realized that even regretting it was a waste of time. He had to start over. He pressed yes to delete his character, vowing that next time he would reach the top. Back in the present, Jinha stands before a massive skull-adorned entrance. Thinking that whole nightmare was 6 years ago. He knows this place. The maze called Labyrinthos is the key. It's the cornerstone for getting past the 30th floor, because it's where you build your character's foundation. He grimaces, thinking it feels like enlisting in the army all over again, but even though he hates it, it feels nostalgic. With a renewed sense of purpose, he heads in. Inside, the air, the smell, the whole vibe, it's exactly as he remembers it. The place is a grand, crumbling ruin. He sees the familiar luminescent moths fluttering around and greets them like old friends, letting one land on his finger. But his quiet moment is interrupted. He turns around and sees a whole party of other players standing there. "Who are you people?" he asks. A woman with brown hair, clearly the leader, cheerfully says they were just looking for a place to farm and decided to pop in before the labyrinth closed. We then get a flashback from the new group's perspective. They had been watching Jinha from the woods. The schemer points out that he went straight to a labyrinth right after entering the tower and even opened the door without a key. She decides they should follow him in. The cautious one in her party is hesitant, asking if it's smart to go into a dangerous, unknown place. But the schemer shuts her down, telling her to use her brain. She reminds them that the early parts of the tower are the most important. The schemer lays out her logic. Jinha opened a labyrinth without a key, and since he's only level 1, it can't be that difficult. The cautious one worries that he won't share any items they find, but the schemer just gives a wicked smile. She tells her party they don't need to worry about sharing. All they have to do is let Jinhyuk find the treasure, and then give him his eternal rest right there inside the labyrinth. Her plan is simple. Let him do the work, then kill him and take everything.